Hi guys, welcome to part 2 of how I went from never have I ever met a veterinarian to becoming a veterinarian myself. So if you haven't watched the first video, please go and watch it so that you can understand part 2. Let's just get into part 2. We're not going to take that long. Firstly, I want to say welcome to my channel. Thank you to everybody who watched my first video about how I got into veterinary science, and people who were commenting and leaving likes and telling me to make part 2. This is for you. And if you are new to the channel, welcome. Please remember to subscribe, like, and comment. It's absolutely free. It just helps my channel to grow. I don't know if I told you who I am. By the way, guys, I am Dr. Nobs, a veterinarian living and practicing in South Africa. Welcome, guys. Let's get into the video. So where am I going to start? Let me start with where I got accepted into the extended program. So like I said in my previous video, I was just excited to be within the University of Pretoria, because unfortunately, and as it currently stands, the University of Pretoria is the only university in South Africa that offers veterinary medicine, right? So I was very happy to be within the university. I didn't quite understand what it meant to be in the extended program. All I knew was it's grade 13. And like I said, being in grade 13 for me, it was a blessing in disguise, guys. It was a very good transition from high school to university. It sort of eased me into university, okay? Because the teaching there is different. They say it's slow paced, but I wouldn't say it's slow paced. It's normal university pace, but it's just that it's a smaller group of students. So you get to have that attention that you need as a person. And also they support you, you know, academically, psychologically, they support you. There was a psychologist on site as well that you could go and speak to if you're having any challenges, and there are tutors. We could attend extra lessons as well. So it was such a good year for me. It helped me grow both as a person and academically, as well as emotionally and physically. And it helped me improve my language skills, because obviously now there was a whole lot of other people and you had to speak to those people in a language that everybody could understand, which was English. So it helped me improve my communication skills, my writing skills. It also helped me improve my computer literacy skills, because I had none. Like I said, there was no computers in Rosinga High School. I had no computer background, and it was amazing being there because it really prepared me for what was to come. All right. So the whole year that I was there, I did well. Everything went okay. I was not allowed to fail, because if you fail, they will kick you out. So I did well and I passed the year. And then now I moved over to main campus. Now this is Hatfield. So normally in the normal veterinary program, you're going to do first year at main campus, and the second year onwards, you're going to do it in Pretoria North at the Onderstepoort campus, right? So I went to Hatfield and I did my normal first year, and at this time I was still not accepted into veterinary. So I did the first semester. I still did well, and around June, was it May? I don't actually remember when did I reapply to get into vet, but at some point there I reapplied, and then around June I got the SMS, guys. I got the SMS, and this was even before I got my results. So we had written the exams and everything, but we didn't have the results. But even before I got my results, I got an SMS to say, congratulations, you've been accepted into the veterinary course. And I was like, I had a small phone, guys. I opened my phone, and that message, I read it, and I was so excited. I was so happy, guys. I can't explain the emotions or the feelings that I had at that moment, but I was very excited. And I told my dad that, hey, I got into veterinary science. Guys, I was so happy. My dream was coming true, right? So went back to the campus, did my second semester, now finishing off my normal first year. And you have to do a module including medical terminology now, because I was now accepted into veterinary science, and everything went well still, and I passed. So now the following year, we were off to Onderstepoort, and obviously I still don't know who got into vet or who didn't get into vet. And to be honest with you guys, it was still not ringing in my head about how difficult it is actually to get into vet. I was still very naive about that. I was still very passive about it. Actually, I didn't understand it because, as you know, I didn't actually know much about the profession. I just knew in my heart that I wanted to do it, right? But I still didn't understand the dynamics of getting into veterinary. And also, guys, bear in mind that I didn't stay in res. So some of my friends that I got to meet when now I got to undersupport, because the normal second semester, it was still a big class, right? I didn't know who's going to do vet and who's going to do what. I still kept my friends from Mamelodi, and none of them were going into veterinary science, or maybe one was. I don't remember. My other friend, I think she was in Mamelodi campus with me. I'm not sure. And then so I was still not understanding that, okay, getting into this course is actually not easy, right? So people who stayed in res understood, because apparently the competition was hectic there at res. If people knew you want to get into veterinary science, they will give you looks and all of that. And yeah, I didn't experience any of that because I didn't stay in res. I was living at home with my dad, right? So 2012, I think it's 2012. 2012 came, went to Onderstepoort to do my second year. And I must tell you guys, it was shocking when I arrived there. What was shocking? It was the welcome that we received, right? From the senior vets. And I must say, I must be specific on the story, the vets of color, right? They were so happy to see us, guys, because apparently we were the first biggest number of people of color to be accepted into veterinary science. So I didn't know any of these guys. I really did not know. I was not aware. I didn't know. Yes, I know the career is not that popular in the rural areas, but I didn't know that the career is also not that popular in the black community, if I can put it like that, right? Or in the African community, right? So yeah, it was really, it was shocking, the welcoming that we got, but at the same time, it was comforting and I appreciated it, right? So there was a lot of, hey guys, welcome, like from the senior vets of color, vet students of color, and they were so welcoming, and they became like our brothers and sisters, encouraging us, obviously, and the silly ones that had crushes on some of us, but you know, it's cool. But it was amazing, and we also got an amazing welcome from the cleaners, guys, the cleaners and the general workers, the gardeners, like everyone, every person of color that saw us. I remember this other lady, she was a cleaner. She came towards us when we were walking to one of the orientation/welcoming speeches. And she was just like, oh, bantwana bam, ningahambi. Like, don't leave, you know, don't leave. Study hard, work hard, you belong here, you know, that type, those type of speeches. Obviously, it was overwhelming for me, especially as a child, because I didn't quite understand. Like, honestly, I really didn't understand what is going on, like what is all of this, what's the fuss about, you know. But obviously, when you walk into class and then you realize that, oh, it's a class of plus minus 130 students, and only about 10% or so of the class were people of color. So by color, I'm including black, Indian, colored, and more Africans from other African countries, right? So that's how the class was like. And yeah, so maybe seeing that as a young person, when I think back now, I did sort of understand why we had all this attention from the cleaners, from the senior vets from the senior students of color, and how they just wanted to be there for us and support us and make us understand that we also belong, and we should feel comfortable, and we should know that they're there for us, all right? But overall, this is my story. I cannot tell other vets' story, okay? So the senior vets of color probably have a different story from mine, okay? So from 2012 onwards, going all the way to final year, I had a good, pleasant time at Onderstepoort, okay? I didn't face any I don't know what to call it, any racial bias or things like that. I cannot point out a moment to you where I can say I feel like this was unjust because of my skin color, for example. I cannot point that out, because for me, the lecturers, the clinicians in clinics, everybody was so supportive and everybody wanted to see us succeed. That was my experience, right? Anyway, backtracking to second year. So as much as we received that welcoming from everybody, it still came with its own struggles. Now, on the support, guys, yay, I'm not trying to scare you guys into not studying veterinary science, but yay, it's tough there. There is a lot of work that you need to get through. So second year went on, everything was okay, but there was this one module, anatomy. Yay, guys, anatomy showed me flames. It showed me flames, guys. So eventually at the end of the year, I failed anatomy in my second year. I failed anatomy, and if you know Onderstpoort, how Onderstpoort works is it works like high school, sort of. There's not this thing of carrying over modules like other courses work. So if you fail a module, you have to repeat the whole year, right? So I failed anatomy. Of all the modules that I did in second year, I failed anatomy, and I had to repeat anatomy. I had to repeat a whole year. Oh, guys, it was so traumatic. It was the worst time. I mean, second worst time of my life, because the first worst time I could say it was when my dad passed away. I think that's when I cried or felt a lot of pain. But that second failing second year brought so much sadness in my life. I was sad. Oh, guys, I cried. I remember when I got my results and I called my dad and I told my dad, and I want to cry on this video now. I must not cry. I told my dad I failed, and actually he answered the phone and I just cried. Guys. And then he was like, what is wrong? What is happening? And because he knew I'm at school, he was like, did you fail? So I told my dad I failed the module, and just by failing one module, I have to repeat a whole year. I'm going to lose my bursary. And in my moment of crying, yes, guys, I studied with a bursary, okay? In my moment of crying, my dad was like, don't worry. I am going to rob a bank. You are not going to leave school. You are going to stay in school. You guys must understand why I talk about this moment so much is because, yes, he's my dad, but he's my father's little brother. He doesn't have to do all of this, but he has always been there for us ever since my dad passed away. So it was, that moment was something else. My dad spoke to me for a while on the phone, and he calmed me down because I was still at campus now. I just got my results, and I managed to walk back to race. And guys, the rest of my friends, we failed together with my friends. I won't mention their names. It's not my position to tell their story. We failed together. So I got to rest and I just cried. I ruined everybody's day that day, I think. Like, I just continued crying. And I remember I had a neighbor. Her name was Vera. I think it was Vera. Or was it Vero? I think it was Vera. I don't know where she is now. She was so kind. She didn't know what to do. She just watched me break down, guys. She just stood there. But her standing there and just being a source of comfort was, it was something for me. It meant something at that time. And I remember I was staying downstairs. I walked upstairs. One of my friends was staying upstairs, and then I got to that door and said, "Pull me!" And then I cried even more. Guys, it was a disaster. And I continued crying, and I eventually came down. And I remember I went to another friend. She was a senior student. She did my hair. She was just with me, comforting me, talking me down, and telling me about how maybe I will get to write a special exam, and that can help. It could be like a second chance, and maybe I will get to pass. All right. And then obviously, guys, let me tell you, I got that special exam for anatomy. And unfortunately, again, I still failed. I was meant to fail that year. I I think I got 47% for my special exam. So I was 3% away from passing, and I still didn't pass. I still failed. It was another traumatic experience, but obviously I cried again, but then I just like, okay, you know what? I'm meant to repeat this year. I'm gonna repeat. With what bursary, I do not know, because the conditions of my bursary were you don't fail. If you fail, they take the bursary away. And I must tell you, they did take the bursary away, okay? I got another one, but they did take that one away because I had failed, right? And because I had failed one module, just one module, and I did okay on the other modules, I was able to secure another bursary. Then I continued with my studies into second year. I repeated second year again. And guys, there's a reason why we fail. I think every failing step or every failing moment or something like that is an opportunity to learn, or it's an opportunity to become better. It doesn't necessarily define you, or it doesn't necessarily determine how you are going to end your race, right? So it was repeating that year did so much for me, because I learned how to study better for on the support, or for where I was, or for the course that I was studying, because I needed to study differently now. Okay, so if you knew me in second year, I would rewrite all the slides. I just didn't know how to study correctly. Okay, so repeating that year taught me how to study correctly. And I need to tell you, after failing and repeating second year and eventually passed it, I went on to third year, fourth year, fifth year, and final year, and I never failed any module ever again. I never even wrote a supplementary exam. I was passing all my exams straight passing. I didn't need second chances or third chances or fourth chances. I was just doing well from there on. So again, it was good that I failed. It was for the best that I failed, because I needed to learn something. Okay, so yeah, I went on, I studied, I did my third year, I did my fourth year, I did my fifth year, and I did my final year, and I had a good time. I had a good time at Undersupport. I learned a lot, guys. Some of the senior students of color even started like an organization. I think it was called VETSCO, and VETSCO was meant for us students who didn't have proper background into veterinary or animal handling or any type of veterinary exposure, for us to get more hands-on experience into veterinary. So I remember they started VETSCO, and we could start going out for outreaches, and then that way we became better and got exposed to the profession and on animal handling, as well as some of the veterinary procedures that we might have to do once we graduate. So that was a good initiative from them, and I'm very grateful to each and every one of them for doing that. But essentially, we had a lot of support, guys. We had a lot of support. I feel Undersupport made me. Undersupport cooked me. Those lecturers, they are good, Shem. They are good, guys, because I remember in clinics, guys, let me tell you my clinic story now. In clinics, when I was doing my clinic rotations, I went to surgery, and I remember one of the surgeons, when I was doing my first spay, which is essentially just sterilizing a dog so that it can't have puppies anymore. When I was doing my first spay, I was there doing my first spay with the help of other students and nurses, and the surgeon was there. And I remember I called one of the nurses to sort of help me with something. And one of the surgeons came, and then he was like, it was like he knew where I was going or where I was going to be, or maybe he made an assumption. I don't know. But either way, it was a good assumption. He said, wherever she's going to work alone. So don't help her too much. Let her learn to work independently. And then I had to do the spay independently, Yes, there was people around, and he was there around. Obviously, he will not be negligent and leaving me to kill the dog or something like that. And I did the spay, and everything went well. And it's only later on, when I went on to do my CCS, that I appreciated his words. Because guess what? I was alone. I was veterinarian and I had to do these things now alone. So yeah, it was a good assumption that he made. And again, guys, listen to me and listen to me correctly. My story is, Onderstepoort was good to me. It made me who I am. It made me the veterinarian that I am, and I'm still growing. I still have a lot to learn. I'm still learning a lot, but I am very, 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 very grateful to each and every person and each and every lecturer that contributed to who I am today. They took the girl from Guyana who had never seen or experienced veterinary to this, to what and who I am today. And for that, I will always be grateful. There's probably a lot of the story that I didn't tell. But yeah, that's all I can remember for now. Thank you guys for watching. Subscribe, comment, like, and tell me if there's anything else you want me to clarify, and I can clarify on the comment section. I hope you enjoyed the story, and yeah, share my YouTube channel with the world. Let's take veterinary science where it is not easily accessible. Thank you. Bye.